Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special video where we do our card reveal. Our card reveal is always like so. I feel always honored if we get a card reveal. I mean, not everyone get that opportunity, and I can spoil so much. I think it's one of the best we ever got, if not the best we ever got. I think. But we come to that later. We also want to just like add a bit like what were mentioned in the lore cast, because like we got not all the cards in our last episode, like which um released yesterday. So we have to talk a bit about some cards before going to our spoiler, because our spoiler has also, I can say that right now, has to do something with toys. And so LD, you thought way more, but you are very excited about the toys. I know that, and you thought much more about that than me. And
Yeah,
yeah, do you want to introduce ourselves into your philosophy of the toys?
yeah, yeah, sure. I think that's a really, really great way to do it. Yeah, so there's a few toy cards that we should have a look at from the Lorecast as well that we didn't pick up in that last episode. So I think yeah, we'll take a real quick look through those and talk about those before we do the card reveal, just so I think it's important to set the context. But we did talk about Sid Phillips, which is like the main piece that I'm super excited for. I've been playing a lot of this Ruby Amethyst deck with Lonely Grave and trying to do a lot of what in other games you would call it like a sacrifice type strategy where you're banishing your own characters to get value in various ways, like drawing cards with David Xanatos. Um, you're banishing your own 7 cost Wreck It Ralph to clear their board and things like that. So I've been kind of having a go with that sort of strategy, and it feels like with the Sid Phillips and a lot of these toy cards are set up, there's a real opportunity to build like a thematic toy deck around that kind of approach. Um, we know that lots of these cards synergize with getting cards into your discard, or they have good on banish in your turn effects. So yeah, one of the ones we should have a quick look at that we didn't talk about last time is the bouncing ducky. No, sorry, that's the one that I'm. Well, we can talk about bouncing ducky. So this it gets cheaper for each toy in your discard. Like I'm saying, those sorts of synergies where you want to fill the discard up with toys by banishing your own characters. So you can play cards like that for free. That's not one of the ones I'm more interested in, but it is kind of indicative of that strategy. I'm more interested in Babyhead, leader of Sid's Toys. Has another gives you a second version of the David Xanatos effect, which is during your turn, whenever one of your other characters is banished, draw a card. And yeah, just looks like the pieces are there. They're coming together for this kind of self-sacrifice type strategy. It's really tough to know what the supporting color will be alongside Ruby. From looking at the cards so far, it probably has to be Amber. And let's have a discussion about a controversial card between us, which is
Hmm.
um, Alien True Believer in
Hmm.
Emerald.
You are the true
I
believer, yeah.
I am a true believer and you are a true denier. I think this card is absolutely crazy. That's an overstatement, but I want to do cool stuff with this card. Um, to me, I think like the floor on it is not as low as it appears. It's typically going to be like a 2-1, 3-1 when you're curving into other toys up the curve. Of course, if you're playing it in that kind of Sid Phillips deck that I talked about, you're then playing Emerald Ruby, which brings you into dangerous territory. Not historically very powerful, but yeah, to me, this just has echoes of cards that I remember from other games. Like this kind of like permanent engine of, okay, on my turn, I'll Lonely Grave my alien to boost something, then bring back the other alien. You need once you have two of them, the engine's going, and you can just essentially like you're paying one for free draw effects, for free boost effects, getting this value every single turn. It doesn't need many more pieces for that to be like a very, very viable strategy to me. And it's something I really will try and build. I've been talking for a long time, so I want to. I'm open to hearing your views against though. So tell me why this card is bad.
um I struggle sometimes with imagination. I can say that, yeah. But I think a game that revolves so much about tempo and stuff, that there's
Mm,
so many gimmicky stuff. I don't see this baby head at all, and this gets strength. Like I think, but maybe it's like maybe I just lack imagination. That's totally viable. I think. And this one cost, I don't know. This first one is so terrible, and the second one, do you play later a one cost? The one cost you ink later, and you don't have like infinite cards in your hand that you can just like, oh yeah, I play this one drop now, and
yeah,
I really I, I'm I am the happiest guy of the world to be wrong. Yeah. Um, it's just my feeling. My feeling was sometimes right, sometimes wrong, and yeah. Um, I think you can do value stuff with this car, but I don't see the tempo too much outside of this bouncing ducky. This bouncing ducky is for me like insane. But I wonder how you gain tempo with the deck, and a game that revolves
sure,
so much around tempo. Then
sure.
I think, okay, how do you gain tempo with the deck? Like, what do you do against 1, 2, 3 strength? What do you do against? I don't know. There are so many like very obvious things that I don't see. Like these play characters for free thing. That's something I would like. That's something I can see.
Yeah,
But outside of that, I don't see how you get tempo, and you lose basically tempo every game. So you need to board wipe every game. Um, that's how I see it now. I don't see
yeah,
many ways to get tempo in the deck
yeah. I think
till
that's fair.
now. But again, I'm totally. Maybe if Maui or something gets reprinted and you could gain tempo back or something, maybe this Bullseye. There's another toy like Bullseye. That's also a reasonable card. Like if we get a
Yeah,
one cost Woody, I mean the Woody is for me the most selling point for these toys. I think the card is
yep.
insane. The more I think about it. But all this Ruby stuff, that's so gimmicky for me, and I'm really happy to be wrong. Um,
Well,
like the
maybe the
best
difference
card
between
of this, the best card of this is our reveal actually. Oh, what an introduction for me.
yeah, I was just
But
thinking, like everything you're saying is setting up the reveal really nicely. Where you're like, you
yeah,
need
yeah,
something
yeah,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
some, you need something that can generate like some tempo or swing the board back a bit your
I
way.
mean, just to
Which
talk
make
shortly
we
about it.
yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
I think just to say that shortly, like the song is very good also. Like
It's
there's a good
very
toy
good. Yeah,
song.
yeah.
Which can be a friends, which is okay, but it justifies not a deck for me. Um, and it's sometimes probably not a friends, but yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is always. And yeah, so I need to be convinced about this strategy, and I
Yeah.
will probably.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be working on it because it brings me a lot of joy. So I'm really going to try and build that type of deck out because that just is
If
something
I
that
see this,
speaks to me.
if I can see the Sid Phillips, I get so I don't want to play this card. I don't want to put this card to it. I can see this guy, and I just get terrified. I don't want to play this. Woody is
I,
okay. I can play Woody. I hate him so much. This Sid Phillips. In my
I
childhood,
feel
I
like
hated him so much.
I feel so differently about the character of Sid Phillips, which is um, like I don't think he's a good guy or anything, but it's really this is like something that it's so baked into my head in nostalgia, where it's like Sid Phillips for me, like exemplifies it's like this the spirit of the 90s that I remember from being a kid, which was a really weird time to be a kid because like everything went like everything that was pitched at kids just went like super hardcore and like I just remember like everything was about like sweets and candy that were like sludge or made to be disgusting and everything was like all about like gross out and you couldn't be like a wimpy kid, you had to be like super tough and the mainline music there, like the main music that had like breached pop culture was all hip hop and rock. It was all edgy and hard and had a perspective and everything. Like the whole era felt like steeped in that to me. That like I knew a million Sid Phillipses. Like Sid Phillips was not the exception. He was like the generic kid.
Mhm.
Every kid, like their main
I
hobby
think
was making fires. Like maybe that's just where I came from. like that maybe that's just where I lived.
No,
But like
I know
I
exactly what you mean. I think he still is
yeah.
more on the evil side from these type of kids.
Oh, he is definitely. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not
yeah.
saying any of those kids were good, but it's like,
Um,
like for
because
me, he.
if you see Babyhead, you just think how evil are you and so.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
like
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
just reminds
it's
me of
also
this.
like a child memory.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't see the movie like I think for 10 years. I need to rewatch it. I think or like
Oh,
5 years at least.
that's a big difference for
Uh,
us then because
yeah, okay.
I watched it right away. It was one of the
Oh,
first.
really?
It was one of the first movies I had on like a VHS cassette, and it was the first VHS that I ever like wore out. I killed it
Hmm.
just watching it so much. I would watch it again and again and again. Um, Toy Story and The Lion King were by far in a way the two that I watched the most as a kid. Like now, I would say my favorite IP is Monsters Inc. But like Toy Story, Toy Story 1 and Lion King, I absolutely watched to death and really loved everything about them. So yeah, it's all
Yeah.
rooted in that time and those memories and everything. So like for me, if I get to play a Toy Story deck, even if it's like villain coded, like a Sid Phillips deck, I will be so happy. Um, yeah, it's sort of I've seen people play like some of these more thematic decks connected to movies they really like. And I haven't had that much of that connection before. And I think I sort of feel it for the first time with this, of I actually am drawn to these characters, even though they're weird and maybe that's part of the draw. But like that's what I
Yeah.
like about it, and like yeah, and
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
maybe
know,
the same
it
like
makes me feel good.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's the same like from me last set with the Fox and the Hound, but Fox and the Hound got
Yeah.
not that many support that, and it seems like toys get this set, so I couldn't. Yeah, thought it's like still really hard to to build decks with. But yeah, um, I think especially looking for post rotation, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
something for me like where these cards, these are all like new cards, obviously. So they are all like this whole synergy, which reminds me a bit on dogs, where like dogs got also like in one set like this super crazy like all support like and this is here too, so it will be there and could be one of the few ways to generate card advantage. So like maybe,
Hmm.
but I still think 1, 2, 3 strength and some things like that will be a
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Sadly,
It's hard to see past that for sure.
um, but yeah, um, yeah, I think there is something there. I think especially for me, like the appealing part is like the Woody for me. The Woody is
Yep.
insane if you shift it on 3, and the play for free characters. I think that's
Yep.
like, but I think to feel that this card is not that easy. I
No,
think
looks tough at
then
the moment.
it seems maybe there comes more like support. But in your red green deck, you can play cards like all these green like bobbies and strike a
Yeah.
good match and cards.
You actually can do that. That's one of the sort of upsides of it. So I just had like quite a physical reaction then when you said your red green deck, and I felt like kind of sick when I heard you say that, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? You know, like one of those moments that like pulls you back to reality. If someone goes your red green deck, and I'm like, no, I've strayed too far from the light. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that the world post rotation will be a different one. So there could
for
be a lot of
sure, for sure.
things. There
Yeah.
could be a lot of things viable as well as this stuff. For like now, like constructed, need to be convinced. But we will
Yeah, I
see
mean,
about that. But yeah,
it's going to take a
sorry.
lot. It's going to take a lot to unseat dogs. Like, how do you disrupt dogs without like a full package of incredible early removal? I just think it's not happening in one set.
Uh,
Like, you basically just have to
yeah,
wait for most of those dogs to rotate, and then we take our new format. And for most people with core constructed, like that's what they'll be doing. The DLCs
yeah,
for
yeah,
this set are Infinity. That's where our eyes are now, and then after that we have Continentals and the LCQs. So core wise, I think a lot of people will be looking at this set and making their plans for post rotation
yeah. That
because
makes sense. Yeah,
there aren't any big time tournament. There are some
yeah,
CCQs, but there's no DLCs. So for a lot of people, it will just be like a play some casual core this set, focus on Infinity competitively, and then consider the implications for these cards in post rotation core constructed, which is kind of where I am as well.
yeah. Makes total sense. Yeah, I always think in this like, yeah, if we see like purple and dogs and stuff and purple steel, then I think like, how do these cards exist in a meta like that? But we need to really think completely new
Yeah,
post rotation. Yeah.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
just Genie Elsa not existing, like this.
I know.
This seems like a free world, like
It'd be a really crazy
uh,
time. Yeah, that like we didn't see
yeah,
that coming at all. Like that's well, we did see it coming. We knew it would eventually happen, but like we are so coded to think in that way now that it's
yeah.
just it's hard to imagine the world without
um,
them. Um,
I mean, Dumbo will still be there, but yeah, we'll see.
yeah, Dumbo is something that is will continue to be a good card, but then like it's kind of propped up by the fact that a lot of these evasive characters just felt so free to play on curve. Like that whole curve, the fact that it was just like this extra payoff that your genies
Yeah,
and Elsas that had already done their job were just kind of
yeah,
then also doing this extra role that was incredibly good at keeping like if you're ahead, it puts you way ahead. If you're behind, it can bring you back a little bit. It's yes, it might not look quite so strong in the context, but again, we've got to see. We've got two more full sets. We've got 12 and 13 to see what that format looks like. But yeah, it's where my thoughts are at the moment, I think. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how it shakes out because I don't know. I always front load a lot of thinking like around rotation. I play tons around new sets. I
yeah,
play tons just at the release, and then by the end, whether it's the end of a set cycle or the end of a rotation, I'm pretty worn out because I've just seen the same thing so many times. So it's like I know I'm sick of playing against dogs. Like I've worked out what beats it, and I've determined that a lot of the things that consistently beat it aren't that great because they have other bad matchups. So it's sort of like you're now resigned to just either beating it or accepting that you don't, and it's not going away. So you
yeah.
just need to move on with your thinking and think about
But
something new.
maybe the red green like that you already get like it's not too
Uh,
crazy because I recently saw a video like I don't know why I lied in bed and I saw somehow it showed me like on YouTube a video from like set 3 or something where
yep,
Lorcana made a tier list. And then they started with green blue unplayable, never play this, like and that was like a time where we thought green blue is not a deck you can play,
yeah,
like and that's red green now, but maybe it's like something else, that you can't know that right now. Maybe
yeah.
maybe the time of red green will come somehow. Like
Well,
if we,
but it's kind of
yeah,
like the same was true for Blurple, wasn't it? Where it's like early on,
yeah,
Blurple was this
true,
was this complete sort of joke deck. Early on, it
yeah,
just had
yeah,
nothing going for it really. Towards the end of that first rotation cycle, it started to pick up and really showed that it had legs. And then post rotation, that set it was almost like a tier 0 deck in that set 9 format. So if you follow that trajectory and think what are the least playable decks right now? um, well, actually, if you're analyzing like the rise of different decks, the deck that's currently on the Blurple trajectory is blue yellow, a deck that has gone
yeah,
from complete joke to semi playable to competitive like to viable
Set
competitive
one, it
deck
was
with like
actually meta.
yeah, okay, yeah, one, yeah, set one, it was
Yeah.
good, but like in recent memory, it has
Yeah, that's
followed the
true. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting actually. I'm just sort of like realizing it right now. It's followed the exact same trajectory that Blurple did in the last rotation cycle of within the space of this format. It's gone from joke deck to playable to very competitively viable but has bad matchups. The next stage in that journey is post rotation. It's tier 0. So,
Could be like they have still Cindy, they have the bot wipe, they have like
yeah,
they have like stuff. I mean, we also when we talk a lot about people want to see the review, but I just want to say
yeah. I
also
know.
like
Sorry that
uh,
the reel's
yeah,
taking
yeah.
so long. We're just having fun. This
But
was meant to be like a
I
10-minute video. I think we're just having fun
I mean,
talking.
the people can, the people. I will make a timestamp. They can move to it if they want to.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
also like the Tipo and Sale are gone, and I
yeah,
hope they don't reprint 8. I mean, you could run one jump still, but they
yeah,
I hope they don't reprint that 2 construct. So that's also like that's a crazy world.
yeah,
Seems
for
like a
sure.
crazy world.
Yeah, if those
Okay,
decks
but
had to go back to like if they had to
yeah,
play,
sorry.
for example, like Tipo and One Jump, and just Sale is cut, like those decks
Yeah,
change
yeah.
quite a bit, don't they?
Oh,
But
quite.
like
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
the
just to
plan
have to
stays the
play
same, but
4 one
they're weaker.
jumps.
Yeah,
4 one jumps are so clunky and stuff. Like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
We'll see.
we were hyping you guys up with
Yeah.
toy stuff, and
Sorry, everyone.
we want to continue with toy stuff. And I think our reveal, we just show it now, right?
Yep.
Our reveal is a very good toy, really a good toy. It's the Roller Bob Sid's toy. It's also a Sid's toy, 3 cost, 4/3, quest for 1. And time to move. When you play this character, you may put 2 character cards from a discard to the bottom of your deck to give this character rush this turn. Um, which is solid. It reminds us all, or me at least, a lot on
Yep.
Fox,
Yep.
actually, because like it's a Fox without bouncing, which can be an upside or a downside, actually. I think if I think this is the only toy that could also be played in not a toy deck, actually, I think.
Yeah.
If you but in toy decks, this has also probably a lot of synergy. Um, yeah, I think this is in a vacuum. This is a good card. I think this is the best reveal we got so far. I mean, we got Marshmallow last set, which was a weird card and somehow a counter card, but it's like it
Yeah.
never really got there. And it was uninkable and stuff. And it was it's also like not an unplayable card, but weird. And this is, I think, you can. Yeah, I mean, basically, you can run this in like every Ruby deck. I would say, like very, very, yeah, cautiously. I would say like you can slam this in every Ruby deck, and it has some use case. I think. What do you
Yeah.
think about this?
Yeah. I like it. I think that obviously the first thing people will think when they see this is like you draw the comparison to Fox, obviously. And then the question from there is, well, how reliably can I have 2 character cards in my discard on turn 3? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that is like incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to rush this on turn 3 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A 4/3 body on turn 3 just played out is on rate and is going to freeze the board for you a lot of the time, especially going first,
Mm-hmm.
and buy you extra time. Later, this card functions as a fox and is pretty strong in that role. Yeah, I'm pretty high on this. Like, I think this looks like a super good card to me. Like, yeah, it's just well statted enough to be playable. If those toy decks come together where you do just want, the entire curve filled out with toys because you're looking to hit a critical mass of them, and then like maybe clear the board with a Sid in play and gain 10 lore or something, then yeah, you want lots of these. So yeah, I'm pretty sold on it. Like I think it's not on the power level of Fox, but to me it looks very playable. And I think you're completely right when you say that this is the kind of card that yes, it's a toy, but it doesn't have to go in toy decks. Like this is worth a look for a lot of these Ruby decks. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a good catch-up tool, probably.
yeah,
Yeah. It synergizes well with your baby head.
yeah,
Actually, your baby head. Uh, that's a cool synergy. And
Yep.
no, I think in general, I mean, it's not a bad card, like it has use cases and it's like a meta. I don't want to say a meta relevant card, but it could have meta relevance actually. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a vanilla not do nothing card, like if toy decks are a thing and red toy decks, I mean toy decks are basically red, then yeah, I think you will play this card probably in toy decks for the body, for the toy, for everything. I
Yeah.
think this. I mean, you have to be probably careful at some point how many cards of this like shuffle your cards back stuff you play because you need
Yeah.
to be like a bit picky about them.
Yeah, you can't just jam them
Ho
all, or the deck doesn't
Yeah,
function.
yeah.
Like loads of like your ones that are your payoffs will kind of like turn each other off, which is why I'm a bit more scared of things like bouncing ducky, which is like if I want to late game be making sure that my roller bobs all have rush, so that I'm turns five
Mhm.
and six, for example, they become very good woven into your curve. Um, and then like a payoff like the bouncing ducky, for example, turns that option off, which puts me off those cards. And I'm much higher
Mm,
on stuff like this that just, rather than it being like a big explosive payoff, are just like strong role players that like benefit from your synergy without kind of turning off future ones too badly.
maybe you played a Dale also, or was it a chip or a Dale? Which like for 4 cards, 3/4, and put 3 cards of your top into the discard. You need to take you get cards in your discard.
Wow, yeah, that's something to think about. I've completely forgotten about that card. Yeah, there's something,
Or some other cards.
yeah,
Or your
cards.
or your also one of your favorite cards, the sharpshooter, Robin Hood, like
Yeah, that is one of my
yeah.
favorites as well. Yeah,
And then you get like all that's in the discard. I don't know how
yeah,
to
but
I
I
will
mean that's a tough sell, because that sharpshooter
yeah.
demands that your deck is full of actions, and then you're hoping that it fills the discard with characters. So you're sort of like, that might be a really
Don't come
bad.
with so much logic.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh
That's normally your job to be the logical one. It's me that does the dreaming
No.
and you that does the logic.
No, 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 no. I think, yeah, my guess is now post-rotation, these toys are a thing.
Yeah,
Pre-rotation and Infinity, they are not a thing, probably.
yeah,
And we will, yeah, I mean, post-rotation, yeah, honestly, like, yeah, I think they are all solid cards. And we will search for card draw. We will search for things to do outside of the monoing people.
yep,
So, yeah. I mean, this is a cool card. I'm proud of this reveal. I think it's a good card. It could be a role player in some strategies, and it's a fox.
yeah,
Just want to say it's a fox.
yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Um, do you have anything to add to this majestic reveal?
No, I mean we've gone way longer than I thought we would, but I think that was a really good
Yeah.
conversation as well. It's like feels a bit like an add-on
Yeah. I
episode to the
mean,
podcast. So yeah, it's good
people
and,
can
and
skip
nice.
to
Yeah, they can skip
the
if they just
reveal
want to
if they
see
want
it,
to.
but it's
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
provide a bit of that sort of like contextual thought. And I don't know if you can really
Yeah.
call it analysis. It's more like speculation, but
Yeah.
yeah, fun all the same. And like I say, those Ruby type toy decks for me are like, that's where my attention is at the moment and what I'll be trying to build. Um, to me, it's more exciting than anything I've seen for a while. Not necessarily in terms of its raw power level, but the thought of building out a new archetype that looks like it has some depth is really like engaging to me and what I'm looking forward to most. So I'll be doing that. I'll post my thoughts as I have them, as the card pool gets deeper. And yeah, looking forward to sharing that with people and hopefully having some conversations about it moving forward.
Yeah, nice. I think people will want to hear your thoughts. Nice. Okay, then I think we wrap it up here.
Yep.
Next week we got probably till then we got a lot of other reveals, so we will talk about all of them. And yeah, I hope honestly a bit like on other stuff than toys, like a bit like more stuff. I don't want to see
Yep.
only toys here. Like all the non toys were all terrible cards. except this Merida, maybe that's a cool card, but I don't see these purple cards, these one cost and so, but it's not like super exciting cards. So I want to see more. For me personally, you want more toys, I want more non-toys, so
Yeah,
we are the perfect combination.
yeah. Whatever gets
Yes.
revealed, one of us is happy.
Yes, exactly. Nice. Okay. Then thank you everyone for watching and till next time and bye bye.
Bye bye.